Zels, optimistic, pessimistic, because I don't know when I walk in to every centre in Cape Town, people are, do you think we can win in New Zealand? Well, yeah, I think we can. What happened in Ellis Park? Hey, we were a bit gassed, okay? Unacceptable. With another team, 10 of those guys lost 57-0 season. Really? I can't believe the pessimism among so many people when I'm wearing my Boks by 10 shirt.
Oh,
I mean, when they see the Boks by 10 and they ask me, what do you think? I think it's pretty obvious, eh? It's Boks by 10.
yeah.
I mean, Racing must think 2 World Cup wins, a Rugby Championship win, a British and Irish Lions Series win, and still they doubt me.
Look,
Crazy.
After his time in Cape Town with the Stormers, I don't think Rassie will ever be surprised by backlash after a loss again. So I think he got a full taste of that medicine while he was here, and he knows it. Like he calls it. He says, "Look, when we win and we get praise, we must enjoy it. But then when we lose and we get criticism, you've got to take it on board." I think it is a little bit over the top. But I think that's part of being a sports fan. It's not having to think about the complete and utter breadth and width of the sport. You just live in the moment, and you're upset that the world champions lost. I do think there's a huge demographic of people who don't like the Springboks. You've had to be quiet for a very long time. 2,114 days, if I can remember correctly.
Now this week.
And they finally got a chance to say something, and they've taken it.
And they're taking it a lot.
Exactly. I think that's probably the problem. I think most Bok fans get it. Everybody's ride or die with Rassie, and they've loved the gambling and the experimentation, and this is just one that didn't go right. So
despite wearing my Boks by 10 t-shirt all the time, I believe you also wear it occasionally. My inbox has never been so active, and it's not to say, Keo, you're looking good. It's to say, it's the Boks. I told you. I tell you now they're going to lose. I'm like, Zels was right. Tony Ball's a mess. So all the Oaks who attacked you 2 years ago, now you're the Oak they put as the reason for what went wrong, okay? Yeah. Zels warned us. What do you guys say now? And I'm like, Zels didn't warn you. Zels made an observation that we can evolve our game, evolution, not revolution. Because a revolution, you're the Highlanders, you end 8th, 9th in the Super Rugby.
Correct.
Okay. But of all the particular interactions I've had, one thing that struck me the most was, and I hate that, someone who kind of puts their kid in the front and says, like, this guy on X said to me, what do I tell my 9-year-old that I took to Ellis Park to watch his heroes? He's still crying. He's crushed, okay, at the embarrassment that they were. My response was, is that the same 7-year-old that you took on the Tiki Tape parade when they won the World Cup and his hero signed his ball? And that absurd mentality. Rather tell me you're crushed, okay, and you're not 9. Then I walk into Pick n Pay in Gardens, my favorite Pick n Pay store in Garden Center, and there's this guy in a Boks shirt with his little lighty in a Boks shirt on the Monday after a defeat, and it's just Boks basically forever. I chat to him, his name's Isak, his son is Zander, Van der Waltz, they live out in Claremont, and I'm like, cool to see you wearing the Boks shirt. He said, why wouldn't I? We're the world champions.
Brilliant.
And that is the kind of...
That's a Bok fan.
That's a Bok fan, and that's the rhetoric, okay? I don't want to look in his trolley, very filled up. But, and then I get this plonker sending me that kind of crap. And I'm like, no. The Boks will win more games than they lose. And you know what? When they're not quite on their game, another team is, they're going to take a beating. And that happened. We said it last week. We didn't think we would be in Ellis Park. Not with this Aussie team. Now everyone's like, oh, you think we can take them with this 23? That 23 was going to play the All Blacks, and the other 23 was going to play in Wellington against the All Blacks. Now, all of a sudden, it was, oh, is Andre Pollard really that good? Ek het my onvlip gepraat, sê nie, ek sê nou vir Zels. Nee, mannetjie sê, jy nou 'n pak slag gevat. Toe sê ek, it's a goeie ding, Pieter Chef, he's not playing this week. You can't rely on him. Oh, okay. Toe sê ek, nee, Keo, ek sê vir jou, ek like die fact Nick White en James O'Connor. Hierdie mannetjie is nou verby. Hulle is net nou going to be at the next World Cup. Hulle is 38 and 35. En hy manne kom Ellis Park toe en hulle gee vir ons so 'n snortklap. 'n Lekker snortklap. But the thing about the Boks, we will rise again. Toe sê ek vir Flippie, Flip, ek waardeer dit. Ek waardeer dit baie dat u so positief is. He says, nee, ek moet vir julle sê, you don't play Andre Pollard, you don't win.
He's not wrong, mate. Oom Flip knows his right.
Now on Flip, it's a bit of conundrum. He saw the Wallaby team, he saw the Boks team, these 2 Pollards.
Here we go, mate.
And any test match that has 2 Pollards,
It's going to be juicy.
it's got to be very boring.
I love that you I love that you managed to bray on James O'Connor, mate. That
James O'Connor is 'n goeie mannetjie.
is outstanding.
Hy sit Afrikaanse stok in hom.
Mate, I think it's a great team that he's picked. I expect the Boks to bounce back. If they don't bounce back, we'll have a conversation about it next week, no doubt. But my money and my expectation is the Boks take full control of this game and are in command and win comfortably.
Look, the Boks obviously are good enough to win at home against anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I will always back the Boks to win at home and on neutral ground in a World Cup. The only time you kind of like marginally look at it when they go to the Aviva. And I don't know what they put in their guineas, mate, because we go from power to putty. It's like, what happened here?
Yeah.
We give Ireland the odd win every 6 years, and then we're taking you in the final if we got there.
I don't think we could. I don't think we take Ireland seriously enough. I think it might be a bit like the Wallabies fever. You know, you just look at those guys. You think, come on, they're just too cute.
We would have taken you in the final if we got there. You would have taken us in the semi-final if you got there.
Yeah,
but you never
but
get
you
there.
didn't.
It's like that Andy Good. Yeah, Lions would have beaten the Boks 3-0. No, they wouldn't. They don't play. And when you came here, no crowd. We didn't play for 20 months and we still beat you. And we had to wheel Oak out on a wheelchair to kick a final penalty again. Come on.
And mate, you're being arrogant.
Andy Good, back in your box.
You're being arrogant, mate. You're
Hey,
being
sorry,
arrogant. You're
sorry.
being arrogant.
Sorry. I got ahead of myself again. Boks, okay. The Boks, it's a great team that he's picked. We spoke about it earlier in the week. Willie Leroux at fullback.
Yeah.
Pollard's the key. And the guy next to him in 12. Damian there. Dylan there.
Yeah.
That, and I like the pack that he's picked. I like everything about that squad. And they switched on this week. They had 5,000 people in Ballard training. 5,000 people. The last time that happened was when Messi was here in the World Cup, okay? At the Hotel Foyer. But it's like 5,000 people. And that tells me a team's just lost 38-22. They conceded 38 unanswered points. And they get 5,000 people at a training session.
People love the Boks. Huge.
And they know the Boks win more than they lose. And they will win on Saturday.
Yep.
But we'll go to New Zealand for that 6th of September game at Eden Park. Humbled.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think part of the benefit of that result is that sort of reset. The Boks will be smarter this week. That's why Andre and Villy are there. And I think that's going to bring the best out of everybody else. I think that was the thing that was the real downside of that test match, is playing not the smartest rugby, make some very, very good players. The double world champions look pretty average. I mean, there were times in that match where you kind of were scratching your head and thinking, woof, I'm not sure. Peter Steph the Toy, obviously not involved, but hopefully these Oaks this week switch it back on. And you are disrupting my train of thought, mate. Can you just leave that mic alone? I think with Australia getting back Rob Valentini, I mean, what are we doing, mate?
What a name, Rob Valentini. It's like Rico Gear.
I think Rob Valentini, mate, is a huge addition to that Wallabies pack. I think they've got some nice players in there too. They'll have a bit of confidence, mate. James O'Connor will want to make it 2 in a row. Corey Toole has been added, Wallabies rookie on the wing, and apparently the fastest man in Australian rugby. So there's stuff to talk about in this game, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the Boks respond.
Are you actually a closet Aussie fan?
I'm a huge Aussie fan, man. I love the Wallabies of old. George Gregan, Owen Finnegan. I love that brand. I love when Australia was full of Australians, mate, with an Australian mindset playing Australian rugby.
With an Australian coach.
It was great times. Yeah, exactly. Great times. I think they should get back to that.
So I actually happened to bump into George Gregan last night. I was with Barney's Army, John Smith, his foundation, and with Avant Brandy. They had a great, intimate little get-together in Cape Town last night. I got an invite to go, and they said you can bring a +1. So I bought Percy Montgomery, and John Smith said it's the hottest blonde I've ever seen you with when I walked in. So we had a great night. It was like 3 or 4 hours of festivities there. Warren Brosney in Prime Real Estate, he was there. We had a good lach. Dickie Muir was there. He's living out in Franschhoek these days. See, every shark comes to Cape Town, eventually. And Currie Cup winner in 97 with Harry Fillion's team. Smitty was there, obviously. Shimmy, I don't know if you've seen him. He's on every podcast, but he's there. And Super
A
Sport.
legend.
He was the MC.
Yeah.
He was great value.
Tondi?
Tonderai Shivanga, the finest athlete to
Yeah.
play for the Boks. I keep on saying that in Uruguay they have a drink called 7-Up. He said, no, I never scored 7. I scored 6 and they disallowed one. I said, but there, they still think of one.
It was you.
Yeah, so he was there. Yeah, it was just great value. And then Shimmy did a little Q&A with Barney and with George Gregan. You know, for George Gregan, a guy's played 139 tests and he's played 37 against the Springboks. That oak has played 37 tests against the Boks. That's most oaks' careers.
100%.
He's played that just against the Springboks,
Yeah.
okay? And he was just so humble. And I just wanted more of the oak at Todd Richard McCaw 4 more years. But it was a great night. And just to remind people, the Keo Zels, you buy a brandy, you go into the draw to go to Durban to spend a night with Butch James and us. Pre the Argentinian test, it's going to be wicked. Keo Zels is that. Then you go into the draw and you can win. We got a guy that we've flown down this weekend to watch the Boks beat Australia in Cape Town. Also because of a little collab and competition we were going there. But always great prizes on our show. Stecco, come in, go to our WhatsApp channel, go to the SA Rugby Magazine's Facebook channel. It's going to be like the power play that we have. You pick your power play. We put that little wagon wheel, your number, your name comes up, and you win cool prizes. Our WhatsApp channel, SA Rugby Mag's WhatsApp channel, it's full of prizes with really good people that are supporting us. But seeing those guys there and just rugger buggers, they're very intimate, only 30 people there. And Barney's army. Barney's doing so much for, and Roxy, his wife, they're doing so much for kids, scholarships and all that kind of stuff. Like he said, they even gave a kid who had no legs, who plays rugby, they gave him new legs. He's taller than Barney. Okay, so it's like they said, they're just giving life and support to people. But the thing, we're watching John Smith again in action, and as Monty says, my captain, eh? I'll go to war with that guy. Siya Kolisi's incredible. Siya Kolisi's 2019, 2023, and you just want to remind people there was a great 2017. For me, probably the best team that ever played Boks 2007 to 2009 in terms of players. And that guy led them, and he was an incredible, incredible leader and rugby player. And just to watch him chat, Gavin Viridges, who's always been behind the legends, was there as well. Smitty thanked him for his support, for what he's done for the Boks, for ex-players.
Nice.
For new players coming through. It was like really, and it was a bit rainy last night, and it was this here, Scott Gibbs say the geese was there.
Yeah.
You know? And it was just really cool. And then you see a guy like Smitty and George Gregan sitting there, and Smitty's like, you used to irritate the shit out of me. Okay. It's like Gregan's just like laughing, and Shimmy saying like, Smitty said at one stage, Shimmy's always told me that, and he's like he said, Shimmy's always there. It's like, can you do this function? He doesn't ask for money. He's just there and he supports. But he did tell me, you should have played proper, not hooker.
Do you really think you were a better hooker than a prop?
Hooker, you should have played prop. And then Anne-Lee Murray, the first lady of Springbok Rugby, double centurion. So they said there's a few centurions in the room. It's Monty, it's George Gregan, and obviously Smitty. And they said there's a double centurion. It was Anne-Lee. And so it was great to see her again as well. But what I do love, and Gregan said as well, what was amazing about the win in Ellis Park was all the coaches of the Boks were in the Wallaby change room afterwards, congratulating them. The players came over, congratulating. So there was such respect between the two teams.
Awesome.
And I think that's great to hear. And he was quite frank in saying, look, I can't see how the Wallabies can beat them in Cape Town, but it's going to be a one-score game. But does that ever take away Ellis Park? And I said, no. 62 years in the waiting, it's going to be there for the next 62 years.
Yeah.
Nothing will change that result and how amazing it was for the Wallabies.
Totally.
It just was a great afternoon for the Australians, and where Joe Smith's taken them in a year.
Yeah.
So, but again, to see the reverence and the rapport, and the crazy thing there is, Monty told me they played against Gregan for 10 years and basically never said hello to him. And then they spent a week with the Barbarians, and they've been great mates ever since. That's the and I think that's why cricket's got it right to the IPL. Oaks are playing for their franchise there or their club. And when they play each other, it's not Australia, New Zealand, or England, South Africa. It's the IPL guys playing 5 ODIs and they go back to the IPL or they go to the next T20
Yeah.
franchise. So there is that bond and respect, and I think it's great. And I think the result was the greatest result for the Cape Town Test because it gave meaning to this Test match. If we'd knocked them over, they 6th in the world, who cares? But now it's like, buddy, we got to play. We got to play well to win. And if we win, we go on the plane season with a glimmer of hope. Other than that, don't get on the plane kind of thing. So all of a sudden, we've gone from this, wow, we can play 3 teams and play the top 3 in the world on the same day and we'll win, to can this team win in home against this Australia? Can Pollard at 10 beat Pollard at 2? That's what we've got to. And I think that's great for the game, that there's that uncertainty going into the game.
Yeah, no, spot on. We spoke about it before that test. I said it'd be great to have the Wallabies bounce back and actually play some good rugby again, start pushing the box. The more teams that push the box, the sweeter the victories are. I mean, that's what made the World Cup so great, is those 3 one-point victories in the playoffs were super sweet, probably the sweetest of victories because it was so close. If you'd blown out those opponents, as much as you celebrate the win, you always have that thing in your mind, well, if they'd been at their best, what would it have been like? So to play teams that are competitive makes the victories in the championship so much sweeter. It's good for the game to have narrower margins, more competition, and it would be great to see the Wallabies bounce back. I still want to see the Boks beat them every time they play them, but I would like to see them put up a fight, and I think they will put up a fight this week. They picked up a decent team. Cape Town's notoriously low scoring, quite tight, and the weather's probably going to make it a bit damp underfoot. So I think we're in for a good game. I think the Boks will win, but it'll be a good one.
If you look at, there's 2 things you've been big about: Tony Ball and touches, Super Rugby Pacific. Let's see what they do when they get tackled. So we didn't tackle them, okay? Ellis Park, so they don't know what it feels like to be tackled. Did the Ellis Park test change your view on Super Rugby Pacific in any way? And the quality of players that are there? And the way the All Blacks smashed the Pumas, 3 line-out maul tries. I think they threw more than we scored in 2 years. And Tony Ball. Now, you've been a big conspiracy theorist, cautionary about, that's fine to have a Kiwi in the backline ranks, but we don't want to be the Kiwis because we're not good enough. We can't play All Black rugby and beat the All Blacks. We can play South African rugby and beat the All Blacks. Did anything change for you in that Ellis Park test?
Let me say that I think the attack in that first 20 minutes, as much as it's not sustainable, was outstanding. Like that was some of the best, most incisive. I mean, we're going coast to coast, taking meters. Not always the smartest options, but we really did make gains. I mean, if you were going to highlight clip some Bok attack that was inclusive of just about the whole team, that was right up there. It was really, really good to watch. I don't think it helps the Boks win more matches than they lose at the very highest level when everything is on the line. And I think that the Boks I think this week is a reversion more to type, to how they play and what they want to do. Super Rugby, if you bring Super Rugby into Test Rugby, then the Wallabies are going to hurt you. And that's what we did at the weekend. At Ellis Park, we created a Super Rugby environment, and the Wallabies are going to hurt you when you do that. I think if you give Tom Wright enough ball, you give that backline enough ball and make them run at an organised defensive line, the Boks are going to hammer them. And they're going to mash them at the breakdown, and we're going to turn the ball over, and then our backs are going to look electric. And I think we did the opposite of that. We kind of try to play a lot of rugby, and suddenly Tom Wright's getting the ball with a staggered defensive line and looking like an absolute boss, almost getting promoted to the second team in Hammy. So the Boks need to play smarter rugby, and straight away, as soon as they do that, you're going to see some players that you think are some of the world's best click back into that kind of form. And that's what I warned about right at the beginning, is you can't take a very physical, confrontational, direct rugby team, the personnel that you've picked to play that game, and just switch them to another plan, because there are guys that do that other stuff better than these guys, and these guys are going to look worse playing a different game plan. And I think that's what we discovered again on the weekend, is some guys are better suited to smash mouth rugby and other guys are better suited to Super Rugby, and we've got the guys that are good at Test Rugby, so we should play that.
Okay, looking at that squad, and we spoke earlier in the week, and you were happy with the 23. You felt it's a very good 23, especially with the bench. Ronald Keir and Ergies Snyman.
Yeah.
Traditionally both seen as 5s. They're playing 4 and 5. You got the insurance policy of Eben on the bench and Lurt. Outside of Bakkies and Victor, the best combination we've had in the last decade.
Mm.
Explain that to me, the thinking of a Ronokia and an Achia, when both are seen as 5s and the one Jake converted to even to a 7 to do that Franco Master kind of job.
Yeah, look, we're definitely not short in terms of our lock options. So we're going to get full value in the locking department at the weekend, because we've also got Sos at blindside flank. So we've got a bunch of guys that can run the line out. I'm expecting us to contest the line out, to dominate the line out. There's just so many options there. I think Erkia is a player who has the physicality to front up to the likes of Will Skelton with ease. And he's also a guy who brings some of the dynamic traits that we're trying to evolve in the Bok team in terms of offloading and playing off a guy who's offloading. So I think he'll be absolutely fine there. Ruan Nokia is a high work rate kind of guy and is growing, and I think getting a lot of credit for what he's doing in the lineout in terms of running it as a lineout manager. Sosa's got all the experience in the world to do that. And we've got 2 guys on the bench who know slouches in Evan and Lewis. So I think we're going to be A-OK there. I think where you could ask some questions about the Bok pack this week is in their mobility. So if Australia does start to move them around the field, we've got some of the tallest timber, some of the tightest forwards en masse in that team. Eskom for me is not the most mobile loose forward, and then Jean-Luc Dupria is probably better suited to running north-south than east-west. So if you're Australia, you might want to move those guys around with the kicking game and with your attack to see how much legs they have, test their conditioning. I think outside of that, if it veers towards the power game, we're going to have an abundance of guys queuing up to just run over the gain line.
But I mean, Cape Town Stadium,
Exactly.
as wonderful as it is, it's potentially going to rain. It's 14 degrees at 5 o'clock on Saturday. It's not going to be that you go coast to coast. You can't do that in Cape Town.
Yeah.
We saw the All Blacks here last year. It was an 18-12 game. They didn't score a try. Dan McKenzie kicks a couple of kicks, and potentially we get embarrassed there. Again, we tried to play a bit of coast to coast, then got ourselves into trouble. We went back to playing the basics, kind of got over the line 18-12. Wales 30-15. There's not big scores in the Cape Town Stadium. It's not the easiest ground to play. There are wind swirls around. It's not the Highveld, okay? So I'm expecting a tighter game and a more traditional kind of test match rugby game, more kind of suited to what we used to see at Newlands than what we've seen up at Loftus or Ellis Park.
Yeah.
And the thing for me is Australia's made 3 changes to their side. And like you say, Harry Wilson, captain, fantastic, did a great job. Rob Valentini he's a very good replacement, because fit, he would have started in that loose trio. We've made 12 changes, 10 to the starting lineup, and we're like, better team. So they've only got 30 players, 25 players. And we've seen them. That's the best that they've got. And what I do like about the bench is when you look at, you said, if Australia does stretch us and they do kind of put tempo on the game, we have Wilco Low coming on the 42nd minute with Ewan and Lurt behind him. They don't have that like-for-like replacement.
Totally.
And I think that's why I like the selection the way he's done it, because if they've withstood that onslaught of the physical beast, they can open it up in the last 20, as we saw at Ellis Park. But here, they've got to contend with our fast-paced guys. The Achia Sneymans offloading the tackle, the Ruan Nokias. And once they fatigue legs, then you bring in the heavies. It's not going to be quite the same. So I think there were lessons learned in the team makeup at Ellis Park, and also the way they introduced the substitutes bench, because there was certainly no bomb squad that came.
No, totally.
And I think if you look at a bomb squad of Wilco Low, Eban, and Lewit. Forget Kwaka, I would say just those 3.
Yeah.
Tight head prop, best scrummaging tight head prop in world rugby, and arguably the best lock combination in world rugby are sitting on the bench to be introduced into a game. And we got Sasha FM, to me, the greatest generational talent we've seen, to come in and play 10 or 15 after Pollard's done the business for 60 minutes, or alternatively replaces Villy and gives options to Pollard as a second receiver. So I'm confident we'll do well, but we've been humbled, eh?
Absolutely. We've been humbled. And so you talk about the makeup of those teams there. So for Grant Williams, a huge opportunity to prove that he can, once again, be the tactical 9, be the game controller. He survived the cull from last week. He's back in there with Andre Pollard, and now he gets a shot to show he's not just speed. He can play the tactical game. And then behind him, Kobus Reinach, the original speed guy, he also gets an opportunity to come in and take control of the game, show his experience. So I think there's value there. You mentioned the All Blacks and how they rumbled through Argentina. For me, the Boks have got to get back to that. As much as it's not the sexiest rugby, I want to see the Springboks maul again, and I want to see them score tries off mauls. And the selection of the forwards that they have here, the 6-2 split, and the locks that we have in the starting lineup, I think is leaning that way. I think Andre Pollard's going to kick some points. I think the Boks are going to maul for a bit. The scoreboard is going to tick a bit, and then we're going to open things up. And I think that's the chronology. That's the way to do it in rugby. To create the pressure and then feed off sort of reap the fruits of that.
Right. So if you're picking a winner, you're picking a differential in terms of a scoreline, and you're picking also a combination. Because you and I, we have a lot of extramural activities out there. I mean, Zels is in the gym. I'm in the pool. It's like, we're doing Pilates. We're doing everything, okay? We shop. Where do you shop? Pick and pay, but... We also have this thing called Sporty Edge, which is a great little business that we've got into. It's all about aggregation in sport, giving you the best opportunity to have a flat term, make some cash. If you look at a collective, how many points? And then if you look at the spread, like where are you going on this?
Yeah, I think it's going to be relatively low scoring. So I'm going to say under 54 points, I think. Somewhere in that sort of region. I'm thinking that the Boks win this by 16 points, maybe 27-11. So I'm saying under actually 45 points.
So what is the spread? It's like
the spread. The spread is 13.5 points. The Boks are favourites. Yeah,
and explain that to the idiots out there, me being one of them. What does that mean when you say a spread 13.5?
Okay, so if the Boks are minus 13.5 points going into a game, that means that they start the game with minus 13.5 points on the scoreboard. So
but half in rugby as well.
So they've got to beat the Wallabies by 14 or more for you to win on that bet. And the Wallabies are plus 13.5. So they start the game with 13.5 points. So that means that they just cannot lose to the Boks by more than 13.
So I mean, like Joburg was 17.5, which we felt was generous at that stage, given outside of the 53-8 blowout. They got it right. They just got the wrong teams. Okay. So if you're having a flat, I mean, Australia to cover the spread is the great bet, because what you're saying is for them not to do it, the Boks will win by 14 plus. Am I right in saying
that's correct?
And I don't think they will.
Okay.
I think they'll win by 40 plus. No, by 14 plus. I think it's going to be a one-score game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sure. The Boks by 10 always reigns, which means we will win. But I think it's going to be tight. I've got a 26-18, an 8-point win for the Boks. And a kind of bit of a dogfight.
Didn't you just say a one-score win?
Yeah, 26-18. Which, when I say one score, I mean below 10. Okay, one digit. Single digits, okay?
Okay.
Oh, it's not varsity cup. There's no 9-point tries.
There's no 9-point tries in this one.
So, well put. A good technical thing. Cut it out, Mark. Yeah, I've got, I think 26-18, 8 points to the Boks. But they're going to know they're beating a little bit of a fight, because remember, these guys played the greatest team in the world, the British Irish Lions, and they beat them. So, yeah, I've got them to win, but they're going to have to work for it, eh? And it's been a humbling fortnight for us. But a good one before we go to New Zealand, because we arrive in New Zealand just a little bit embarrassing. And that's cool.
Yeah, that's exactly where we need to be.
And it doesn't matter what New Zealanders tell us. Your guys are great. No, we're not so good.
Not really.
And you know what that says to the All Blacks? Hey, Australia scored 38 on not some points against Ellis Park. So you got to get 39 plus, or it's not really relevant. So it doesn't matter what they do, the pressure's on New Zealand.
I don't know how you worked it out, mate, but I like the sound of it.
Okay, so your scoreline for the game?
I said 27-11, Boks to win. Yeah, relatively low scoring. What am I sitting on there? Like 27-11, so 38 points total, so under 40 points, which is low. But I just have that feeling the Boks are going to slow this thing down.
You're only giving Australia 11.
I'm only giving Australia 11 points, mate. That's right. In Cape Town.
Have they been on the town all week, mate?
And I can't tell you inside information.
But they have been smiling all week.
I'm keen to see Corey Toole at 11 go against Kanan Moody, mate. Cheslin Colby in there doing his thing. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good one.
The name's Toole. Corey Toole.
Corey Toole.
I love that surname, eh? Toole.
Yeah.
Rob Valentini, Rico Guerin, Toole. Corey Toole. Who's that guy? That's a Pollard. He plays for Australia. That is a Pollard. He plays for us. Looking at a points collective, That's a big call to go under 40, eh?
It is. It
Wow,
is.
that is big. I mean, mine is 45 plus, okay,
Yeah.
in terms of.
I think the bookies
Yeah.
have got it at like 55 or 53.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What do they know? What do they know? They know points differential, but they don't know which team.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we collectively now thinking it's Boks. It's always the Boks.
It's always the Boks, man.
And win or lose, we love them, we support them, and they've come down from the cloud. Russie says he's quite likes being, like, he's taken his slops up, he's put his feet on the ground in Bloberg, and he says, it's nice to feel the sand again. It's nice to feel human again. And for those who said, hey, what are you guys saying now? I'd back the Boks every day to beat the Wallabies at Ellis Park, ranked 1 in the world, playing a team 6th in the world at altitude.
Yep.
And hey, if you ask me, what would I say? I'd say Boks by 15 again for that match, but thinking they play like they're going to play on Saturday. So have your pot shots. I'm going to miss you for the next 10 months because whenever the Boks win, I never hear from these oaks. Whenever the Boks lose, like you say, they come out hungry. Like,
The trolls.
Yeah, they come out. And they come out and then I can't believe the vitriol aimed at the Springboks.
They've been saving it for 2 years, man. 4
It's
years.
been a terrible 2 years for them, eh?
Yeah.
It's been a terrible 4 years for them.
Yeah.
Every time they look at them and say, still world champions. But talking of world champions, I see the All Blacks are the favourites to win the next World Cup, as they always are. They're the favourites to win the Rugby Championship.
Right.
What did you make of their game against Argentina? I watched it in the early hours of the morning. I got
Yeah.
to the hotel room, 11 o'clock, switched on, dozed in between. Ended up watching the Boks second half. It looked worse the second time round. And then watched Drickus put under a duvet and smothered for 5 rounds, okay? But what did you make of the All Blacks?
Man, I thought the All Blacks were good. I thought they were good. I didn't think they were great. They conceded a couple of yellow cards. Yeah, our guy Billy Proctor was one of the blokes sent off to the naughty chair for a bit. They had the game in the bag. You know, Argentina did come back in the second half, but New Zealand were in control there. They're looking good. I think they are improving. Their locks are finding their feet. Tupou Vaa'i is starting to look like a real rugby player.
At 6.
At blindside flank. So they've got something brewing there. Geordie Barrett had a good game. You still got the same questions though. It's about who is the flower. Is he the right guy to play 10? Will Jordan is the one consistent thing there. Oak is deadly. He's the best fullback in the world right now, if you ask me. And he really is key to their game. And yeah, I think they're going to be proper. I just think that they're not in a position to absorb injuries in the same way that we are. They just haven't built the same depth, and they got some questions at key positions. But obviously, quality performance. Can they back it up in Buenos Aires this week? We're going to find out. You never really know what version of Argentina you're going to get, and when they switch on, they can be a problem. So it's going to be worth watching that one.
Well, I mean, Argentina back-to-back losses against England at home. Lost to the All Blacks at home, conceded 6 tries. They lose here, that's 4 home games they've lost. Their home game against us is not in Argentina, it's in London. And I'm disappointed in them. You know, the team put 67 points past the Wallabies last year. They beat the All Blacks in New Zealand, in Wellington, scoring 38 points. They beat the Boks in Argentina. And they're just not kicking on. They beat the British and Irish Lions in Dublin. I don't think they should ever play a game at home again.
Well, that's the thing. I think they have, what other teams have away problems, I think they have home problems. I mean, how often does an Argentinian rugby player play in Argentina? Like, he's very comfortable in France.
As often as Messi.
Yeah, exactly.
3 times a year.
There you go,
in the national team.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know if you can put it down to that, but they are flaky at home. It is weird. The All Blacks have never lost to them in Argentina. I think there was a draw in 1985.
25 all. Kieran Crowley hit the post with a conversion.
Okay.
And I can't say I was there, but I watched it.
So, you know.
1985.
1985, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
When they should have been here touring as the All Blacks, and they came.
But Argentina do have a bit of the French.
Cavaliers.
A bit of the French in them. When they switch it on, that like there's something about those Argentine backs that I really like. They're combative. They're not just fast and explosive, and they've got a bit of edge. They're going to put an elbow in here and there. They're a tricky bunch. So if the pack can just live up to that, they've always got a chance.
Okay. Going back to the All Blacks, because that's the team we got to counter next after Saturday. Double header.
Yeah.
Auckland, 6th of September. Eden Park, the Garden. Then Wellington, which has been kind to us in the past at the Wellington Stadium. It's not the old athletic park. Billy Proctor, you know, I raved about him at Super Rugby level. He just doesn't seem to have kind of taken it yet. Your mate, who they're not picking, the Giant from the Highlanders, the captain.
Banganuku.
No, not him, man.
Oh, Timothy, yeah.
He's not playing.
Tava Tava Hawaii.
Yeah, say that again.
Tava Tava Hawaii.
Say it backwards.
I can't.
Say it with a
It's
smile.
the same.
Say it with a smile.
Yeah.
Tama who?
I mean, I'd love to see him
Say
get
it
on the
again.
field. I think they've just also got to get an answer what they do with Rico Ione.
Yeah, put him out to pasture, mate.
Yeah. I mean, that might
But
be
you'll
the
see
call.
you at the touchies on Monday.
Exactly. Him and Tom Wright.
Say it again, though.
Timothy Tava Tava Hawaii.
Say it again.
No, mate. Yeah, you
Timmy?
get so many chances.
Timmy Tavanaha.
That's it. That's it. You got it.
I prefer Rupini Kaganabu.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
he was freaking amazing, wasn't he?
Yeah, so All Blacks have been good, eh? I've liked the way they play. 3 line-up ball tries. I think that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Bowden Barrett is a world-class player, and I think he's the best they got at the moment in that position. Richie Mohanga will be the guy they go to, and Bodie will kind of start off the bench. What a guy here coming off the bench come 2027 in the World Cup.
Yep.
What's the spread there? I think it's like 10.5, you said, eh?
I think it's 10.5 points.
Yeah, I got them to cover that. I got the All Blacks to win by 15 plus.
Nice.
I think it's the stakes. I think it's the vibe. I think they love being out in New Zealand.
Yeah. I also think New Zealand wins that game more comfortably than 10 points. I'd give them maybe 15 on this one. And I think relatively high scoring. So can we go 33-18?
Okay, so you say a 50 plus game.
Yeah.
Eh? All right, go to Sporty Edge and you just kind of see all Zels' kind of insights, all my insights there as well. The other thing there, it's a big, big weekend for women's rugby. It's a big weekend for the Boks. Cindy Boy, she captains the side. It's a 4th World Cup. It's going to be an incredible game against Brazil because they don't have a Ronaldo, okay? And he's not playing. And AK Southey, so South African, has been in Brazil for the last decade, a guy who communicates with us a lot. He was actually at the forefront of starting the women's 15 side, the national team. He still coaches in a club in South Brazil. And he sent me a message this week, and he said, it's going to be an exciting game. There's so much growth in rugby in Brazil. He said, but he can't believe how much the Boks have improved since Swayze de Bruin took over.
I'm sure.
And he says, but it's going to be fast-paced, it's going to be electric. But he said the Boks pack too strong, and the back's just too skilled. And that's what Swayze has brought in. He's brought in a collective up front, and he's brought in some very good decision makers at 10 and 15. They play the percentage as well. And I'm looking forward to them beating Brazil on Friday. So get behind them. Sia Khaleesi is one of their biggest fans. Cindy Boy says that's her inspiration. He's the inspiration to that team. And then they also play Italy and France, who are higher than, we ranked 12th. Eh? So let's have perspective. Brazil's ranked below us, but the other 2 teams in the pool are ranked a lot higher than us.
Yeah.
But we did beat the Black Ferns 15. None of those 25 top New Zealand players were here. So also, again, context perspective.
Yeah.
If we make it to the top 8, that's an incredible achievement.
Huge.
But the fanfare that's been with the women's Boks, the kind of support that there's been, the fact that people are starting to know their names, rugby traditionalists are starting to, because they win. And this country's about winners. Eh?
Big
The
time.
minute someone wins, everyone's like, oh, the cricketers got no love. They won the World Test Championship. They got a lot of love.
Lots of love.
They lose it in the last over when they should win it. They get no love. Bafana, AFCON, into the top 4, they got a lot of love. We're a nation of winners. And we had our weekend last weekend, okay? We won nothing. And you know what? The sun came up, not as bright as it normally does, but we won. And then it started well this week. We hammered Australia in ODI. Kemba Bavuna led from the front. Maharaj, 5 wickets, the spin wizard. I mean, when a week starts with a South African spinner getting 5 wickets against Australia in ODI, you don't lose. I'm talking cricket to you, I'm talking foreign.
You're talking foreign.
But we had that weekend last weekend, eh? And the kind of weekend we had our T20 side lost off the last ball in a game they should have dominated.
Exactly.
Our Boks conceded 38 points and didn't score a point. It's just unheard of. And no one puts Drickers under a duvet for basically 4 minutes and was 17 seconds and some oak dead. It never happens again. We will never have a weekend like that again. So know one thing, Zels, this will be the weekend, eh? That the Boks bounce back, the Proteas bounce back, and the women Boks win as well.